Right now, life has us keeping our distance, but there's never been a more important time to come together. Scouting looks a little different than what we're used to, sure, but across the country, Scouts are coming together to learn, grow, and serve even while apart, because that's what Scouting has always been about. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Our culture is one of perseverance and determination. Our foundation is that of always being prepared. When you think about it, we've been preparing for times like these for over 100 years. Because for the past century, we've been pioneers, adventurers, helpers, scouts. Nothing can stop us. We've got this. We are Scouts.
Good evening, Pathfinder District, and welcome to the May 2020 Virtual District Roundtable. Once again, to help follow social distancing guidelines and honor the Marion County stay-at-home order that finally expires tomorrow, when hopefully things start reopening this weekend. We are bringing District Roundtable to you virtually. So for those of you who are on the feed right now, who are joining us either on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and on our two new channels on Periscope or Twitch, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. If you will do us a favor and comment down below the video with your name, your unit number, just to let us know that you're here to check in for attendance purposes. Just like we did last month, we will go in after the fact and hide those so that they're not out there for public knowledge. But we do want to get a handle on exactly who's here so we can check everybody in for Roundtable. If you're watching this after the fact, welcome, and thank you for joining us. Still, definitely comment to let us know that you were here. We would love to know all the people who have joined us for Roundtable this evening, but we've got a jam-packed schedule for you. It is great to have everybody with us. If you have questions as we go along, just as you're commenting right now below the videos to check in, also comment to let us know your questions. We will be doing those, a couple here and there through our guests that are talking, and then we will try to reserve some time at the end for a Q&A, not only with our district committee members, but also with our special guest from Crossroads of America Council. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, I do have a favor to ask of everybody. Like I said, we're on 4 different channels right now. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. Wherever you're at, if you have not already done so, please like our Facebook page and follow it for notifications first, so you can always get the latest news from Pathfinder District. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more powerful we can be with our video broadcasts. Also, be sure to like us on Periscope, which is a Twitter brand, and also be sure to like us on Twitch. The more likes and follows and shares that we get, the more notifications that we get, and the more people we get watching the content, the more we can get out to you. So thank you in advance for all of that. And without further ado, it would not be a Pathfinder District Roundtable without the Alan Wente, everyone. So welcome, Alan. It's a pleasure to have you with us tonight. I know you've got a lot to discuss with the district, so I'm going to let you get right to it. Go ahead and take it away, sir.
Well, and thank you very much for that invitation, Matthew. It's going to be a great night in Pathfinder with all these energetic people watching from the safety of their own home. So hello, everybody. Great to virtually see you again. I miss seeing you in person. Just a few updates that I want to share tonight. A lot of our planning has been put on hold just because there's a lot of unknowns still. But I do want to let you know where some of the updates are and statuses are that we know right now. So for our OA and Firecrafter programs. So what has been announced so far is that for OA, there are no ordeals coming up this summer or fall, probably through the rest of 2020. So those elected candidates have 24 months from the time of their election to complete their ordeal. So if you just recently did a troop election for OA prior to the shelter in place, just know that they do have an extension. They do have 24 months from the time that they were elected to complete their ordeal. Now with Firecrafter, they are, of course, with Randsburg and our summer camps not being in session, in the traditional sense this summer, there will be a virtual camper and woodsman experience that was just recently announced. The platform they're going to use is still being worked out, but there will be a virtual camper and woodsman experience. They are not going to do a virtual firecrafter candidacy, but they're looking at still possibly doing an in-person late summer experience. So if you have some people interested in candidating for Firecrafter this summer, stay tuned and we will provide that information as soon as we know it. But also with Firecrafter, just an update, there is no midsummer and no decision has been made on Grand Ritual yet. So just keep your ears out for that one as well. Again, we can't look too far into the future as to what August is going to hold. So no decision on Grand Ritual yet, but there is no midsummer in July. Also, unfortunately, when the council decided not to do day camps or any kind of camps for our safety, that means the Pathfinder Day Camp was canceled as well. But what we are looking to do, and this is what I'm really excited about, is in mid to late July, we are looking to do like a Cub Scout Fun Day. So it'd be like a one-day Saturday type event with all of your favorite day camp experiences. We can't quite say that date yet because a lot of our local parks departments where we're looking to do it won't open up their reservations until later in May when they start getting back into their offices and seeing what they need to be doing. So, but we are looking for mid to late July on a Saturday, and we will end that with our traditional volunteer cookout, where we normally distribute all of the back to school night materials for your recruitment efforts as well. So it's going to be a fun day full of all your favorite day camp activities, probably minus canoeing and your BBs, but we'll see if we can work those in somehow. But we're going to end it with a picnic and maybe even a campfire program, if at all possible. Do want to mention that training is still vitally important for all of your leaders, and so that fall wood badge is still being planned and is still on track to be held. This year, the 2020 is the inaugural year for the new curriculum, which is now a 5-day course versus the 6-day course, which has been in the past. So it is September 11th through the 13th for the first weekend, and then September 25th through the 27th. It really is going to be a sight to see. Your very own Pathfinder's Jenny Weber is the course director. She has assembled an all-star staff. They are going to knock it out of the park. So if you have a leader who has not been through Wood Badge yet, please get them signed up, and so that way all of our scouts deserve trained leaders. So make sure you get them signed up for the Fall Wood Badge course. And lastly, next Thursday, we are going to be holding an online virtual Zoom kind of roundtable, not this traditional roundtable, just more of an open forum for units, Scout BSA units that are looking to put on their own summer camp program this summer at the unit level. So maybe they're going to rent out a campsite at some state parks or something of that nature and kind of do their own long-term camp program. And so we are just going to provide a forum for leaders to get together and kind of discuss different ideas they have and be able to share different ideas and experiences. So next Thursday at 7 o'clock, we're going to have an online meeting for unit leaders to kind of get together, share ideas. I'm going to have Matthew send out a link here in the very short future. I'm not just going to post an open Zoom link to our Facebook and social media just for security purposes. I don't want strangers coming in. So there's going to be a registration form. You're just going to say your name, what unit you're with, and then I'll send you out that link prior to the meeting so you can join us. So I hope everybody is able to join us that is looking to do a long-term summer program at the unit level, just so we can share ideas. So that's going to be next Thursday at 7, and Matthew will be sending out that registration link here shortly. Back to you, Matthew.
Well, thank you very much, Alan. And I do have, there was a comment that came in from Keith Carnes, and I just want to make sure that we clarify this in case the information has changed or in case we're getting different sources that are conflicting. Keith mentioned that he was told this week that fall ordeals had not yet been canceled. Is that indeed the case? Are ordeals canceled, or is there still conversation there?
So I had heard, and let me go back and check. Yeah, just I don't have a firm cancellation, but I will try to we'll verify that. So the late fall ones may still be being planned, and our special guest actually just confirmed that. So I might have misheard something, but definitely through this summer. And even if parents have fears about COVID and COVID activities, they do have that extension of 24 months, and that's the main point that I was trying to get through tonight.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you very much, Alan. We don't have any other questions that are coming in right now. We might have you back here at the end for a few more, but thank you so much for your information. We greatly appreciate it. Next up on the docket for tonight, without further ado, I would like to introduce Jared Kavanaugh, ladies and gentlemen, our district program chair. He has a lot of great information. There's some changes and some updates that are coming down the pike with regards to advancement. Is that correct, Jared?
Yeah, that's right. There's stuff to help advancement keep going during this COVID-19 restrictions and stay-at-home orders. Some requirements just need to be tweaked a little bit, and National has done that to let our scouts keep advancing.
Excellent. Well, why don't you fill us in with a little bit more information? I'd love to hear more.
All right. Well, with our Cub Scouts, parents and others in the Cub Scouts family can sign off on Webelos and Arrow of Light requirements until July 31st. The Cub Scouts can also continue to work on their own DENS achievements through July 31st, and this is to provide additional time for the Cub Scouts to advance to their rank. Always, the measure that we use for the Cub Scouts is to do our best. The next was moving on to Boy Scouts is the excuse me, I got to move my notes a little bit, is with Tenderfoot and virtual patrol or troop events are permitted for camp out requirement. During the same day as a virtual patrol or troop camp out, a scout may complete some of the Tenderfoot requirements 2A and 2B, and a scout may complete requirement 5A, the importance of the buddy system, verbally, and they may also tell how to raise and lower the flag, raise and lower and fold the flag. Some requirement changes for second class will also allow the video and virtual events, as long as 3B by planning, which is a 5-mile hike, plan the 5-mile hike. Requirement 4 may be referenced with photos. Requirement 5C may be done on dry land, fake water, and a scout may learn about the dangers of drug and alcohol and tobacco by discussing with their family rather than in a structured school program. A flag ceremony may be participated in virtually, and a cost of items considered for purchase for requirement for 8D may be compared online rather than visits to the merchant. Some requirement changes to first class are the orienteering requirements for 4A and 4B may be done with a drawing or online tools and virtual methods. Evidence of plants can be shown with photos. 6E, once again, can be done on dry land. And a scout may visit a civic leader to complete requirement 9A by phone or virtually. Outings for the requirement 9C include past and future, and friends may be invited to participate virtually in an activity requirement. Those are the big changes. Of course, with merit badges, signatures on blue cards may be provided electronically. As with any rank advancement, it just has to be clearly designated what it's for. And meetings may be conducted virtually. Also, virtual tours may work for things that a scout may need to do. Excuse me. If you have any questions about Eagle Rank, that stuff's kind of changing day by day, it feels like, but we will have a link to some notes for this on our website after this is done, after Roundtable's done, to say who to contact to get all of your stuff turned in or your project approved. And that is basically all I have, Matt.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Jared. A couple of people have asked a couple of things in the chat just to go over them, and I think you've already mentioned this, but Keith was asking, are the requirements posted somewhere? Can we share a link? Just to reiterate, yes, Jared is going to get that information to me, and we will get that up on the website sometime in the next couple of days. Give me a little bit of time to be able to get that up. As Brant also pointed out, the national site, scouting.org, does have those details under the COVID-19 FAQ. So if you're looking for them more immediately, you can get them there, but we will get them up on our site as well. Just to clarify, you were discussing the Eagle rank stuff specifically. So for Eagle boards of review and for Eagle book review, those are... Explain a little bit more in depth. Are they happening in person? Are they happening virtually, or both? And just kind of a 30,000-foot overview of how people need to handle that for the next month or so.
So we're going to continue doing virtual board reviews right now through September. You will need to turn in all of your things virtually to Mr. Tony Lang at thelangs _00 at yahoo.com and to Eagle 160 at Crossroads of America Council.com. And you will turn in your application, your book, the workbook as separate files, along with your goals and ambitions as a separate file, and anything else as individual separate files, and they will go through. So it's all being done virtually. We have our projects are done the same way through Mr. Steve Heath and Mr. Lang. So that's the overview of it all. All that information will be included in the link of who to contact.
Okay, fantastic. I just want to make sure that we clarified that a little bit. Thank you so much, Jared. We'll have you back here at the end for some more questions during our Q&A. Before we get on to our next special guest, I do want to touch on a separate topic. It's something that Crossroads of America Council is going to begin promoting here very soon, but it has a direct connection to Pathfinder District, so I want to make sure that we pay it the credence that it definitely deserves. And that is not even an event that's happening this year, but in 2021, it will be the next National Scouting Jamboree taking place in July down at the Summit Bechtel Reserve in West Virginia. Now, what does this have to do with Pathfinder District, you may ask? Well, as was recently announced through the council's social media, 2 of Pathfinder District's very own scouters were selected and given the honor of being Scoutmasters for the council's contingent to the National Jamboree. Registration opened earlier this year, as we announced on social media, and the contingent did go through a selection process to try to identify 5 scouters to be the Scoutmasters for the 5 troops that our council is planning on taking to the summit next July in 2021. It was earlier announced that Rob Weber from Troop 263 will be one of the Scoutmasters for one of the 4 male troops that are going to the summit, and Troop 219's Amy Hulscotter was selected as the female Scoutmaster for the female troop that will be going as part of the contingent. So we do want to say congratulations again to those 2 fantastic Pathfinder District Scouters. They are very deserving. We're excited to have them on board. The important thing that we want to promote is registration for the National Jamboree is open and available. It is an expensive trip. There's no getting around that, but it is one of those mountaintop experiences in scouting that people look back on throughout their lives. And for youth, it's possibly a once in a scouting career experience. So we do have a quick video that we want to play. It's the first in a series that we're going to be putting out via social media, both us and the council. So this is just one of the many experiences that you can enjoy during the National Jamboree next summer.
The experience here at the Rocks is unlike any other I've ever seen. I've done a few climbing walls here and there, but with the rocks, it's on a huge scale. Everyone has done like the little pop-up climbing walls, but this is taken to the next level. This place is huge. There's so much to do here. On belay? Belay on. Climbing. Climb on. There's so many different walls that you can go up, ranging from overhangs to just a simple ascent to the top. What I feel when I'm climbing is I get the exertion in my arms, it's this tension in my arms. You get that sweat in your eyes and then you have to wipe it away, but then you have to keep your balance, and so you're struggling to like keep all these things in check, and then your hands are hurting and you feel like you're getting blisters. The rocks here, they actually feel like really natural rocks, so you get that outdoors feeling. When you get to the top, it's like you're on top of the world.
So,
make it again.
Like we said, everybody, the 2021 National Jamboree contingent for Crossroads of America Council registration is live. Be sure to share this with your scouts and with your units. If they go to crossroadsbsa.org/activities/jamboree, that will take you to our council's contingent, where you can hit register now. It'll take you into the registration system. We'll also give you some more information. You could also go to the Summit's website, but be sure to register through our council's contingent, because the pricing will be a little bit different than what you see on the Summit site, because ours does include all of the transportation to get to the Summit and back, some additional training outings, and some other things. So the council's page, what you see right here, this is the one that you want to be sure to go and visit. Congratulations again to the 2 Pathfinder District Scouters who have been chosen to represent our district and our council as Scoutmasters. Rob Weber, Amy Holzcotter, it's fantastic that you were both chosen for that honor. We really appreciate all of your hard work. So, without further ado, it also would not be a Pathfinder District Roundtable without a few words of wisdom from Tucker LaPrade. Tucker, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I know that you have a few things that you want to go over, particularly the ideal year of scouting. So without further ado, sir, please take it away.
Thank you so much, Matt, and thank you to everyone on the call. Thank you to our Key 3. I know Angie's on the call and Marcella's on. They have both shown extraordinary leadership during this time. To our district committee, who has also just risen to this occasion in a major way. We're so grateful for you all. One of the amazing things about this time is that as we go and talk to units in Pathfinder District, our units are still meeting. Units are still out doing collecting food in socially distanced ways. They are doing virtual marriages. They're doing virtual DIN meetings, and we're still bringing the promise of scouting to so many youth in our community. And it's truly an honor to serve alongside all of you while you do this. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that I think a lot about is as we meet virtually, we don't know what the fall is going to look like, but we know that when that moment comes, we want to be ready. We want to hit the ground running. One of the very first things when we formed a new Key 3 and brought Angie and Marshall on to really give leadership and vision to the district, one of the very first things that they said to myself and Celia was that if we were going to do recruiting in the fall, we would do recruiting for Cub Scout packs that were prepared to put on a wonderful program that would attract and retain youth. I think some of us are aware, it maybe has happened to us once or twice in our scouting careers, where we've seen a recruitment night. Maybe we, as a new parent, maybe this was our experience, where we joined a Cub Scout pack, and there was no thought of when the next meeting's going to be. There was no calendar. There was no concept of who the leadership was. It was just very disorganized. And this year, our pledge to our units is that we're not going to do that this year. All of our units are going to be prepared in an amazing way to have a fantastic program. So one of the things that we've put in place, and Matt, I cannot see if the IYOS screen is being shared, so I'm going to just hope and trust that it is.
Yeah, Tucker, you're good.
Thank you. Is that we've said that we actually want to have a chance to see your calendars. So if you look at the Crossroads of America Council website for Ideal Year of Scouting, there's a portal to actually enter your PAC's calendar or your troops calendar there. So our key three, Marshall and Angie, have asked for you to enter your calendar into that portal by July 9th. If you need help creating a calendar for the fall, maybe you're new and you've never done it before, there's lots of resources on this website to help you. If you scroll down to the bottom of this website, you'll see videos that were created by Crossroads of America volunteers. Actually, one of them is created by our very own Angie. And there's just an abundance of resources. We just finished with a commissioner meeting, so if you're a Cub Scout pack, your commissioners will also be setting up meetings with you to talk about this and prepare you for this. So there's lots of other things always to talk about, but I think for all of us, the most important thing we can do now is make sure that we have an amazing, wonderful, inspiring program that truly reaches for the stars in the fall, and we get that ready now. So with that, we'll turn it back over to Matt unless there are questions.
We'll definitely bring you back here at the end for more questions as they come up. I'm not seeing anything coming up right now in the chat. But thank you so much for all of your information. And again, with the Ideal Year Scouting, Council did do several webinars over the past couple of weeks. If any of you missed those, do check out the Ideal Year of Scouting page that we were showing you on the screen on the Council website. All of the videos that were part of that presentation are also on that page. You can get caught up on all of those. Our own committee chair, Angie, she was one of the videos. Definitely worthwhile. So Tucker, thank you so much. We'll have you back here in a little bit for our Q&A section. We do have one more guest to get to. I would ask, as I'm looking through here on the chat, especially if you're on the Twitch channel right now, please do try to keep all of the comments scouting appropriate. We would appreciate that. But without further ado, we would like to invite in our special guest for this evening. He's from Crossroads of America Council. Council Program Director Matthew Keck is joining us this evening. Matthew, how are you tonight, sir? Thank you so much for joining us. Hang on, Matthew. I'm not getting your audio here real quick.
Let's try now.
There
Sorry,
we
I
go.
think I muted it, Matthew.
Perfect. No, thank you so much. It's great having you with us tonight. You've got some important information for all of our units about this summer. Obviously, we did have the announcement that the traditional summer camp offerings are going to be closed for this year, but we do have some exciting opportunities in their place. You have more information for us on that tonight.
We absolutely do, Matthew. Thank you for that kind welcome. Hello, Pathfinder District. Great to be with you. I really like this format. It's a little bit different for me, but I'm going to have to try and duplicate it here. First off, just want to thank everyone for their support, their patience, their encouragement, their engagement, and their enthusiasm. I know that this has been a hard couple of weeks in the Boy Scouts of America. We have closed an opportunity that we know what that means to scouts and families. We've seen many across the country do the same, and more councils do the same every day. So while I know that is disappointing, I do stand behind that committee's work, and I want to thank that committee, committee of volunteers, board members, operating committee chairs, and some scoutmasters and committee chairs, just like many of you on the call, engaged in making that decision. But as David Cobb, our Vice President of Program for the Council, would say, we have to not live in the decision, but live in the solution. And so to that point, happy to be here tonight to talk about two opportunities which I think will go a long way towards program continuity, towards family engagement, and towards having that same amount of fun that we look forward to every summer, just delivered in a couple of different formats. One of the best things about the Boy Scouts of America is how much we have changed in recent years, and I've seen more change in recent months utilizing technology and trying things we've just not tried before. I think this group has even tried a couple of different formats for this meeting and evolved to what we've got right now. So much the same way, we're going to continue to be flexible, adaptable, and evolve. In our Cub Scouts, that looks like this summer our Adventure Box program. For those of you who may not have seen this before, these adventure boxes are built around 5 elective adventures. We figured that most den leaders know and want to do the required adventures with their dens, but getting a jump start on the next rank could be very beneficial through 5 elective adventures. In these boxes, there will be both information, guidance linked to locally produced video content that parents can find helpful in completing these electives with their scout. And also have a lot of fun while they're doing that. These are available for pre-order right now. They will be either available for pickup at Belzer in a contact reduced manner on a date to be announced in early June. Also will be available if we have folks who commute to the Muncie or Terre Haute offices. We will have contact lists or contact reduced pickup at both of those locations for our volunteers as well. This is something that a family can deliver on their schedule. We know that schedule these days is something that doesn't mean a lot to many of us on the call, right? Our sense of schedule and normalcy is all over the place. So as we get to what works best for our family, we can use these boxes to continue that Cub Scout journey and get kids excited about the next rank that they're working on with some very age-appropriate programming. All the video content is currently under production and pre-production right now. Will likely mostly be filmed at Camp Belzer by both professionals and volunteers from around the council jumping in to help with that, as well as I believe a couple of our more seasoned Camp Belzer staff will take a spin at the mic and the camera to deliver some awesome videos to help our parents through the Adventure Box experience. For our Scouts BSA, this looks a little bit different. We are running what we're calling the Scouts BSA Summer Experience. It is not camp, but it is similar in terms of the enthusiasm, the energy, the adventure, and all of that to one end. We need to continue to deliver, as Jared was talking about a little while ago, quality advancement opportunities for our Scouts. But this program will not only be based around advancement. We still want to bring in those aspects of camp that we know help make troops stronger, like youth leadership development, like skill building, like getting to do things even together as a patrol or a troop or a family in this case, which is a scenario that we don't often get to have, is how do we involve a family in the summer experience. Registration is now live. For that experience, we have over 100 folks who have already registered. Thank you to those who have jumped on that. The activity schedule will be out the week of 5/26, and we are actually embedding at Randsburg a team of 10 people. I got on this call that stopped packing up my car, and I'm headed for Randsburg right after we're done here to start production on, again, locally produced material with very experienced Randsburg staff, faces that you likely know and love if you've been to Randsburg in the last couple of years. A note on this image that's up on the screen that I believe Matthew's got up, that is the promotional logo, not the patch for the program. The patch for the program will be mailed out with a thank you letter to that scout from our staff with a handwritten note at the bottom of it as well to thank them for participating. And we're going to try some things we've never attempted before or just haven't slowed down enough. How can we engage community resources? How can we bring expert speakers to the table? So if you have feedback on that, feedback in this world and in the program world in general is a gift. If there's things that you're looking to see from that experience, please feel free to shoot me an email. I think that Matthew will include my email address in the debrief notes for the meeting, and happy to answer any questions that we have the answers for. I think, like many other things, we're getting there day by day. I'm very excited about the staff coming together. I'm very excited about what I'm seeing with programs they're planning, and I'm excited for our scouts to continue their adventure together with us, even in a different format this summer.
Awesome information, Matthew. Thank you so much. If the people who are on this call, the leaders of Pathfinder District, were interested, were promoting these activities to their scouts, what do you think are the biggest takeaways, or the most important things they should be telling families in their units, families of our scouts, the scouts themselves? What are the most important things they should be communicating as far as these programs to those families?
Yep, so I think, Matthew, for our Cub Scout families, I would say the following things. Convenience and ease of use. This is not something that parents have to think about. How do they deliver an elective adventure that maybe they haven't done before? I would also say that they can choose the scheduling. That seems to be something that's very popular with those who have purchased a box already. They are reporting that they like the scheduling option of, hey, we could do this all in a week like day camp, or we could spread it out over the month of June and do a new elective every weekend, whatever works best for our family. In terms of Scouts BSA, I would say we are working very hard to continue that individual interest building. What an individual scout wants to explore and develop, we'll be able to deploy that through this mechanism, along with some of that near-peer mentorship, which I think is one of the magical pieces of the Boy Scouts of America. That interaction, not necessarily with one of us, though I think we're all probably pretty good leaders and pretty good at delivering program. But we've got some high-caliber college students who are high school students, are middle school students. They listen to them, and those guys can keep their attention a lot better than any of us can in this format or any other format. I would also say that there is an opportunity there for connection with scouts from around the country. We have scouts signing up for this program right now from outside of not only the Pathfinder District or the Crossroads of America Council, but outside of the state of Indiana. And I think that will continue to occur. So that thing that you will only get at summer camp or the National Jamboree, like you spoke about so passionately, that connection to scouts from across the country will be present in our experience this summer.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I do want to cover one other thing real quick, and then I want to bring everybody back in. We'll have the entire group here to answer questions. Another online opportunity in addition to our summer programming, if you haven't heard about it yet, and the council puts these out, it seems like about each week, we are doing online merit badges. There are online courses available for our scouts to register and participate in. Definitely keep up on those. There are new courses that are going up. It seems like every week. Those classes fill up very quickly. I had the honor of participating in one of those with Pathfinder's own Jenny Weber. We did the public speaking merit badge earlier this month, and it's a fantastic setup. It's a wonderful virtual experience. We operate it through Google Meet, so it is a secure virtual platform. We are able to control it, so there shouldn't be any worries about people jumping on that aren't supposed to be there. But we are able to, at least for most of the merit badges, at least get you a very solid partial. In some cases, you're able to complete everything virtually with public speaking. We found ways to work around it. There is a moderate charge for those. It's helping to go to compensate the council's expenses when it comes to the technology through Google and some of the other platforms that we're using. But definitely keep up on those. There's a limit of 20 spots per merit badge, so you want to get in on those early. As those come up, when we have posts from Crossroads of America Council on those, we'll be sure to get them shared out for you. So without further ado, I want to bring back in the entire group. So welcome back, Alan, Jared, Matthew, and Tucker. A couple of questions that are here in the chat, just as I'm scrolling through. and bear with me. There's a lot of stuff in here. Earlier in the conversation, we were talking about the fall ordeals and some confusion as to whether they were going to be on or not. I'll put this up, and it's probably going to blank out the screen, but thank you to, if it goes up, there it is, Jenny Weber. She put up the full email for the ordeal. It looks like the August and September ordeals are still on from this latest email, but we are going to verify that. So just once again, we are going to get the information for you and be sure to get that out once we're sure one way or the other. Things are changing almost hourly. Tucker, Matthew, I'm sure you can speak to that at the council office. There are a lot of conversations where things are being addressed each day, it seems like, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Matthew. And we'll try and continue to push it out on multiple platforms through email, social media, out through our friendly neighborhood district executives, trying to keep everyone up to speed and engaged as quickly as possible as those things come out. So there's not too much time between decisions and when volunteers know about those things. I think we're doing a fairly decent job. If you're not connected in one of those ways, please reach out to Tucker, Celia, the district committee, myself. Let's just make sure that you're on one of those channels and seeing that information as it comes out.
Fantastic. We do have a comment here from Layla Spannenberg from Delmi. I love this. Thank you so much, Layla. We appreciate your feedback. Hopefully we're providing a sample of some things that other districts can be doing. We did have a question here, and I think this one is going to go to Tucker. This is from Clarissa Jones. If a unit meets at a school and they're not sure that they're going to be able to meet there like until July, do they still need to turn in their planning documents? Specifically, she's talking about the calendar. Do they need to get that submitted? Do they need to go ahead and put a calendar together? Or do they wait until the school makes a determination on what their plan is? Oh, hang on, Tucker. I think you're muted.
Thanks.
There you go.
Thank you, Clarissa, and I do want to recognize Clarissa. She really has thought about a lot of different things through this pandemic, and I think we all need to be thinking that way. If you're a Cub Scout leader or a Scoutmaster and you haven't thought about, am I going to have my place to meet in the fall? It's probably a really good idea to think about that and be in contact with that school, even that church. Some of you know I'm a Cub Scout leader myself here in Indianapolis, and the church where we meet has said that they're not having any outside groups meet at that church until after September. So I tell that story just so that everyone is thinking about contacting their charter representative, to whether it's at a school or a church, to talk about what the meeting plan is, and that we're all being prepared, as Clarissa is, to think about where we might meet if our normal meeting places are not available to us. As far as the calendar, Clarissa and others that might be thinking this, please submit your calendar in July, by that July 9th deadline, for the best case scenario. We all know that things change, and if things change, we certainly would appreciate an update so we know. But just go ahead and submit what you have. And then as things change, if you find that you're meeting in a new place, for example, let your commissioners know, and we can update that as well. Great question.
Excellent. Thank you, Tucker. Angie Ellsberger, our district chair, did put up a comment that May 18th, the Golden Burke offices will be reopening at a 50% capacity, including the Scout Shop. Tucker, Matthew, is that still the case after the mayor's announcements earlier this week?
It's still the case. As Angie said, it is at 50%, so, let's fill up the parking lot like it's Lowe's on a Saturday. But or we might be, having people wait outside, but yeah, it will be opening, and we're excited to get back to business.
Excellent.
Yes, Matthew, just real quick, if you do come in, you'll notice that there are some things that have changed. Please observe the social distancing rules.
Matt, we just lost your audio.
Sorry. We've got some barriers up, just face shields with those professionals that sit at some of the desks out front. We've got some blue X's on the ground and some ways just to try and keep everybody safe in that environment. So please work with our staff and just be prepared for that when you come to the Golden Burke. It's a little bit different experience, but trying to keep all of our volunteers and staff safe.
And I think, along those lines, the council's website still has a COVID-19 announcements section with regards to changes that are upcoming. So if you ever have a question, go to the council's website, crossroadsbsa.org. You can get the latest information there. The update from the council, at least on the website the last time I looked, and Tucker, Matthew, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this. The last update was, as far as units are concerned, that you should follow whatever state and local guidelines dictate as far as whether or not your units can meet. Obviously, also be in conversation with your chartering organization and your meeting location, because they may have other things that are in place as far as requirements and restrictions. Has that changed? Is the council still essentially saying units, make the decision that's best for your unit based on what the state and the local guidelines are?
Yeah, in consultation with your chartering organization, absolutely.
And something that I would make sure, as you're getting ready to have your units meet, the current requirements here in Marion County, at least as of tomorrow, is that the meeting size needs to be limited to 25 people. Outside of Marion County, when you get to the 24th of May, that will go up to 100. Inside Marion County, I think it's still going to be small. So keep an eye on your unit size when you come to making this determination, and make sure masks are required. This can actually be a great project for your unit as far as putting these together, but I would try to source masks, and if you are going to have a meeting, the state is pretty much saying that they're recommended in some cases. Employers, they're required. I would go ahead and put them in place for your units and say, if you're meeting, have a mask. I think that makes the most sense. Let me see here. A question from Keith Carnes, and Mr. Keck, this one's going to be for you. Speaking to camp, specifically Randsburg, will there be enough space for all scouts who would have attended Randsburg normally? So what are the numbers that they're looking like as far as this program and maximum capacity and things like that?
Sure, Keith, appreciate that question. We are trying to scale up, and we're building a model that is scalable. So if we see demand that exceeds our kind of initial target, which is kind of 1 in 3 of the scouts who had signed up actually participating in this program based on very early feedback, that would put us at about 1,000 to 1,100 scouts. We're scaling for that now. We're also exploring some partnership opportunities with other councils that surround us, not only to serve the scouts that were already coming from those councils to Randsburg this summer, but perhaps other scouts. Obviously, anyone is invited to participate on a first-come, first-served basis to sign up. But we do believe that the model is scalable. We do have some additional seasonal staff that if we needed to go that route, we could employ. We also, I believe, through the merit badge program that Matthew was talking about, we have a number of volunteers who we will likely be in contact with to scale up, or say, hey, we've got 9 people, but this class is not outside. It's outside of our specialty. So let's engage a volunteer just like we would at camp. We always have volunteers who jump in and help with the waterfront, or help with a class, or are an engineer and a guest speaker at the STEM shelter. We want to keep that going too. If you're interested, please feel free to send me a message. But those are the ways that we would scale that. I hope that answers most of that question, Keith.
I think it does. Eric Sporing, one of our district commissioners, our unit commissioners, has a question revolving around the Cub Scout adventure boxes. Are they available for scouts outside of Crossroads of America Council, or is this supposed to be within our council only?
They are. Shipping is an option, and so shipping can be included in the price. It is an option. So if you're doing contactless or contact reduced pickup, there is no shipping charge for that. However, we have had folks who said, hey, I want to ship this to my house as far away already as Colorado, and so we will make that happen.
Wow, Colorado, excellent. This is more of a statement, but I want to turn it into a question. Alan, Jared, specifically, I want the two of you to jump in on this as our gurus of programming and activities. Phil Sturm mentioned that parks work well for troop and den meetings. So I think, the comment here is, and going back to what Clarissa was mentioning, if your unit is unable to meet at its current location for whatever reason, exploring other alternatives might be a good option. As far from your experience for the two of you, what are some great alternatives to look at for different outings? If council campsites aren't available for whatever reason, or if parks are closed, what are some other opportunities that the two of you think might be good for units to explore?
Conservation clubs. There's a lot of conservation clubs that are very great and always willing to work with scout units. That's very good organizations to work with. Alan?
Yeah. Sorry, it just choked on my spit there. But that's embarrassing on a live stream. But yeah, so like Phil was saying, working with your local parks, seeing if you can find a shelter if the weather's nice. Obviously, safety is going to be your paramount concern. So if you're able to do that and keep the distancing and provide an area to where scouts aren't jumping on each other's and doing piggyback rides and everything of that nature. I mean, ultimately, that's going to be your main concern as far as the safety of the scouts. But, our units have met out at Southeast Way Park here in Marion County on a frequent basis. The trails there are great. The open space is great. And the staff there is very friendly in their nature center. There's a lot of just little tucked away neighborhood parks that have a lot of green space that you can pop into. Trying to think, like retention ponds around neighborhoods. If you want to do like a fishing derby, talk to that HOA, see if you can do like a little event around their retention ponds that are stocked with the little bluegills and the sunfish and things like that. So absolutely, and then if some of your leaders might have a farm. Troop 104 is lucky enough to have an assistant scoutmaster with a large piece of property, and we can meet there, and we can build fires, and we can do our lashings with plenty of space, and so really it's the spacing that's our concern right now, and making sure that everybody's able to not be right on top of each other. But look around the resources that you have right in your troop, and where they live, and make that program happen as best you can.
And I think one other thing to comment on, obviously we're talking about social distancing and we want to have space to spread out, but also be mindful if you're looking at alternative locations for meetings that they should also be friendly when it comes to YPT requirements. Make sure that you don't have any blind spots where people are going to be able to get away and potentially have that one-on-one contact. Too deep leadership at all times is something we take very seriously. Make sure that your alternative meeting locations also work well with that regard. Another important thing to remember is, as we're looking at alternate activities, the Guide to Safe Scouting, and Alan, Jared, I know that two of you can speak on this, and it's something that you're going to talk about with regard to scout troops and potentially doing their own summer camp program. If units are looking at doing summer activities in lieu of summer camp, specifically swimming or shooting sports or things like that, are there any things that you want to make sure people are aware of now as they begin having those conversations with regards to doing their own program?
So yeah, absolutely. As you start planning a unit event, whether this be a Cub Scout unit, a Scouts BSA unit, a venturing crew, absolutely make sure that you are familiar with that Guide to Safe Scouting. It's on the Scouting BSA website. There's probably a link to it from the Crossroads BSA website, but it will go over pretty much all the restrictions that could be by age level. So I know that there are, we've talked about the shooting sports. So, at different age levels through Cub Scouts as to what type of ammunition they can use, the type of guns they can use. And that progresses up through the scouting program. It's very clear as to, what the scouting the shooting programs that are in scouting. It's very clear as to aquatics. So, you can't just go to somebody's backyard pool and say, okay, have fun. Even though you can see the bottom of the water, there are still safety procedures that have to be followed. when anytime a scout is near water, whether that be on top of it in a boat or whether that be in it while you're swimming. There are guidance and restrictions on all-terrain vehicles and powered vehicles and things of that nature. So absolutely, if you're planning any kind of unit event at the Cub Scout, at the Venture, at the Scout BSA level, make sure you are very familiar with the Guide to Safe Scouting, because it will tell you pretty much black and white as to how to run those programs safely.
Excellent. A question here that came in from Andy Rusniak. Matthew, this one is for you. You mentioned Web Station is now live. Can you explain what this is?
I'm not sure that I know the answer to that question. Registration is still live. I was talking quickly.
Okay.
I think it may mean registration is live. Registration is live for both programs, Cub Scout Adventure Box, Scouts BSA Summer Experience, and 2021 National Jamboree.
Okay. Just want to make sure we clarify that. A question here from Jennifer Bowman and Jared. This one is in your ballpark. For Cub Scouts, will Scouts who have earned their rank be able to move on to the next rank and start working on it as of June 1st, or do they need to wait until the new deadline of July 31st in order to complete the current rank and then, quote-unquote, be promoted to the next rank?
No, they do not need to wait till the new deadline. They can start as if it was a normal time. It's just we extended it out to help with all the changes that were made the last 2 months.
Excellent. We've got one other comment here, and this kind of goes back to the activity conversations. Keith Cardens mentions that June 6th and 7th are free fishing days in Indiana. So as you're looking at different activities, a reminder, with fishing, there are requirements about needing a fishing license, and those vary by age. So, if you have younger scouts, they're likely able to fish for free regardless, but if you have older scouts or definitely adults who are going out, fishing licenses are required. So that June 6th or 7th would be a great thing to look at for your unit. I'm not seeing any other questions at this time. We'll give it another minute to see if anything else comes in, but I do want to thank Alan, Jared, Matthew, Tucker. It was wonderful having you here. Hopefully this live stream was a little bit smoother than the first attempt. It is something that we are constantly learning and growing with as things go on. Alan, as the person who kind of heads up Roundtable for us right now, let's say that between now and early June, things are going to vary. We normally don't have a Roundtable in June, but that normally coincides with the fact that summer camp is going on. In this environment, do you anticipate that we would be doing a Roundtable in June? And if so, are we going to do it in person or virtually?
So I would say, as of right now, we're not planning on doing a June Roundtable, but we can definitely schedule one if there are large changes over the next month to any of the programs that we discussed tonight, to any guidance that has come out from the state or our local communities that we feel would be worthy of discussion. So as of right now, I don't believe that we are going to try to do a virtual roundtable in June. So that's kind of where it sits right now. Okay.
I'm not seeing any other questions coming in here on the stream. So we do want to say, though, that regardless of whether we have a roundtable in June, please do follow all of our channels. And as soon as I say that, there's a couple of questions that just jumped in here at the last second. But if you didn't do it at the beginning, or if you came in a little bit late, we're currently on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch, whichever platform you're on, especially on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the alarm bell for notifications, like our Facebook page, like our Periscope, but keep in touch with us on our social media channels. We're going to have a lot of information coming out over the course of the summer. We have a recruiting season that we still need to begin planning for. Even with all this uncertainty, we want to be looking with an eye toward the future and being ready for July and August as though everything is going to be back to some version of normality. But we have recruiting coming up. Popcorn season is coming up. We have a lot of great information coming out on that. Misty Walker, I know, has been on some calls, and the council's been doing some information promotion on that, so we'll have information coming out there. all of this programming and advancement information as well. So make sure you're following our social media for all the latest. We do have a question that came in from Andy Rusniak, and I'll put this up here, and I'm not sure which of us are going to answer it, but we'll talk about it. Are there any plans to adjust council dues? If so, can we get that information before recruiting? I know that there were some people who were talking about that, or people asking that question. As far as I am aware, at this moment, the council is not planning on any dues adjustments for 2020 to go into effect for 2021. That doesn't mean that something doesn't get announced from the national level. I mean, that's a question that we obviously cannot answer as a district, let alone as a council. That's a decision that's going to be made elsewhere. But Tucker, Matthew, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I do not believe there's going to be an increase in rates for 2020. Is that correct? Tucker, you're currently muted.
Yeah, based on everything I've heard, Matthew, you're correct. As far as I know, there is no rate increases coming, at least from the local council. We don't anticipate any from the national council, but obviously those have surprised us in the past. And if we hear of anything, we will let you know just as soon as we hear of anything.
Yeah, that's going to be a case where the instant we know, you will know. It's not that we're trying to hide any information. We honestly, and this is coming from our committee and two professionals, we don't have any knowledge of an increase taking place this year. So
the one that I would jump in with, Matthew, is the camping rates for 2021 are still under review right now. That is with volunteers on our executive board. A couple of select people in finance and the VP of program are taking a look at that and what it looks like. That rate has been held for 2 years. I do not know if it will be held a third year or not, but we're trying to get that information out in the month of June, at least for Scouts BSA, and then by August for Cub Scout PAC, so that they have plenty of time to plan and prepare for that if it were to increase.
Excellent. That is fantastic information to know, and just another reason to make sure we're talking with all of our scouts and all of our units about the Popcorn Fundraiser and the things that they can do to offset the cost of scouting going into the 2020-2021 school year. Without any further questions, and I don't have anything else coming across, thank you once again, Alan, Jared, Matthew, Tucker. It was wonderful having you here. Everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us at Roundtable. We will hopefully be talking to you again in person very, very soon. But when we have more virtual meetings coming out or more videos, follow us on social media. We'll get the information out to you. Thank you so much.